Hello everybody and welcome to another quick Dwarf Fortress tutorial. In this video we're going to be talking about transporting lava with minecarts. In order to do this we're going to need several things. We're going to need a ramp, we're going to need a minecart made of iron or steel, and we're going to need a minecart track. We're also going to need some lava, which we have right here. So once these dwarves are finished digging this little area out, I'm going to explain how it's going to work and then we'll continue the video. So as the dwarves come to mine out this area, you're going to notice something real quick. Down here, this area is going to constantly get canceled because there is hot stuff everywhere. If you want to avoid this, a real quick tip is to simply click on the paintbrush button instead of the normal dig button, and then hold down the mouse while the game is unpaused. If this dwarf runs off, we can simply hold down the mouse button, and then as it disappears from the other side, we can automatically make it reappear. So what we have here now is a landing zone for a minecart, a filling zone for the minecart, and then eventually a final landing zone for the minecart. So what we're going to be doing is we're digging up kind of over here and giving it kind of a speed bump, because I've had problems with minecarts going down into lava, coming up out of lava, and then rolling back down into lava. So what we're going to do on this other side over here is we are going to dig into this trench real quick. Now, digging into this trench is going to give us kind of a landing zone, and then from there we can push it really wherever we want. Now, what the track itself is going to look like is going to be a little nifty. It's going to kind of start up on this side. It's going to go down into here, through lava, up onto the other side, and then down and kind of out, and then back up and around. So my minecarts that I've prepared for this video are made entirely out of iron, which is magma safe, so we shouldn't have any problems. But if you're making wooden minecarts, keep in mind, this won't work. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into this, into the trench with the minecart track, to the other side of the trench, out of the trench, back into the trench, and then over here. Now I'm going to need to remove a tiny little bit more of this so that we can get the minecart out, because minecarts cannot move and turn, or cannot go up a ramp while they're turning. They have to be going in a straight line. So now that we've got this little space dug out, I'm just going to channel a ramp up on the other side. And we've got our minecart track almost completed. We're just waiting on a single more piece. And now that we've got our ramps up, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the minecart track building tool. We're going to connect it to the last track right here and go all the way up to the top. Then we're going to add all of that. And then we're going to go down to track pieces again, and we're going to go down to the corner. It doesn't like to go around corners super cleanly, especially if you're building straight lines, so I like to just do this my own way. We're then going to run all the way up to here, and then all the way up and around the corner to right here. And then that's going to be where we're going to dump it back in. So now what we're going to do is we need to fill this. Now, as you can see, we've got this lava right here. And I want to be able to do this safely in a way where the dwarves don't die. So once again, I'm going to grab that brush tool, and we're going to get this dwarf digging, and we're going to automatically hold down the mouse on the other side so that it automatically reassigns without us having to do anything. And then we're going to go up to here, and we're going to dig into this wall, one piece right here. As you can see, it's right above this fill spot. Now, I'm just going to wait until all these dwarves are finished constructing so I don't accidentally burn anybody to death. And then we are going to channel out this tile. This is going to remove this tile beneath it, but it's also going to give critters access. Now, if we want to remove some of those critters' access, we can fill this with fortifications, which can be constructed under fortifications in the build screen. Now, what fortifications do is they don't remove the ability for creatures to swim through, but they tend, in my experience, to block them from pathing through by default. So unless they're directly trying to get into a place, they're not going to accidentally path into here as frequently. All right, now that our tracks are completed, what we're going to do is we're going to build 2 track stops, 3 in total, but 2 initially. Now the first track stop is going to go right at the beginning of the route. We're going to just make that out of blocks. The second one is going to go at the bottom here, and we're just going to leave all of these settings up here on default. The third and final one is going to go right here, and we're going to have it dump to the right, because we're going to be filling this back up with the same lava we just removed from it, just to make the system quick, simple, and easy to demonstrate. Once the dwarves bring in all of these extra pieces, then we can construct our actual route itself. We're going to be using this tool, and you can see I already have a minecart track set up in this fortress, but we're going to be adding a new route. Now, the first thing we're going to be doing with this new route is we're going to be adding a track stop. You can see they already built the first one. We're also going to then add a second track stop, and then finally a third track stop. Now, the settings for each of these track stops are going to be a little bit interesting. We're going to want them at the first one, which is this one, they're going to kick it because a dwarf obviously can't push a minecart through lava. They will die. And we want to set it, we want to click this little green button so that it's set to be push off east immediately, always at least 0%. So they will automatically give it a push right away. Now the second spot is going to be similar. We're going to have the same setting, push off east when it's at least 0%, because it will be at least 0% full, except this time we want them to push it. And then the final one, we don't want them to do anything, except what I like to do is just say, hey, yeah, kick it in the direction that it's facing, because the setting is already set here, so it should end up right there. The last thing we need to do with this setup is we need to add a minecart. So I'm going to add a minecart, and before we fill it with lava, I will show you how the system is going to work. Now, as you can see, the minecart is now on our track. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to follow this minecart, and as you can see, a dwarf is already coming to give it a push to give us the first demonstration of our track setup. So what should happen, once again, is it should go down this hill, up and over this speed bump, and connect with this track stop. Then be pushed up to here, and then the contents should be dumped back into where it came from, and then the minecart should be kicked up to the end where it can sit. With the end of this, you could actually reconnect it to the initial track and give them a secondary push job to the first stop where the whole thing would repeat, or you could alternatively do a myriad of other things, such as kicking it back along the same route. But just keep in mind, if you're going to send it back in the initial direction by pushing, they do avoid breaks. So if I were to connect this here, it would kind of go straight through the water again, through the lava again, which you don't really want to have happen here. So now we're just waiting for a dwarf to come and replace this run. So now that the first demonstration is complete, I'm going to select the channel tool, and we are going to channel through this. This is going to allow the lava to flow up across where our minecart is currently sitting. As you can see, it is sitting right now, doing nothing, just waiting for someone to come pick it up. We're also waiting for a miner to come and collect it. So this dwarf is either coming to mine or they are coming to move the minecart. They move the minecart, and then there they go. So they kick it back up to that stop, and then they push it around. Now, as you can see, here it goes again. They kick it, connects to there, and then it'll get pushed around again. They're going to come down and mine through this and hopefully don't immediately torch themselves, but, you know, dumber things have happened. There we go. Dwarf didn't torch themselves, thankfully. So now we have this trench full of lava and a minecart sitting, waiting to be pushed. So now we just need to wait for a dwarf to arrive. Now, there is a weird bug with the game that's a known bug for the game where minecart sprites disappear when they are full of lava. But fortunately, we don't need to worry about this, nor do we need to worry about Hode Eknatu, the Forgotten Beast, because they can't get to us anyways. Now we're just going to simply wait for the minecart dwarf pusher to arrive, and it's probably this one. And as you can see, it is now full of lava sitting down here. So it shot through, and it's now sitting right there. I swear, it's right there. You might not be able to see it, but this is what peak minecart performance looks like. It appears somebody's been missing for a week. I'm sure that's fine. Anyway, so we're now going to wait for another dwarf to come and collect this minecart and give it a push. And as you can see, it's full of 833 lava, which is 2 of 7 deep for a single tile of lava. Here's our dwarf pushing it. They give it a shove. It comes around the edge, gets dumped out. So it turns out upon waiting, I think the way that I had this set up was a little bit silly. What I really should have done was had it pushed into a little spot over here on the left instead of piling it up on the right, because there's actually this tiny little spot of lava underneath the minecart which spilled out from underneath, and I've been waiting for some time and it is not drying up, so I am kind of at a loss of how to finish this video. The way this whole thing should work is they'll push it down through the lava trench, down into the break, up around the corner, and then dump it back in. But because it's spilled out, now they're refusing to move the minecart for what should be relatively obvious reasons. But you did see it running in functionality 2 times in a row. The only thing that I would do differently is I would simply have it dump over to the left and then kick back to the original spot, thus transporting lava from over here to over here instead of just refilling the same spot and causing it to bubble over. If you'd like more short tutorials like this on how to transport liquids or various other things in Dwarf Fortress, you can check out my YouTube channel. Keep in mind, this does also work with water, but if you're using wooden minecarts, you're going to need to make sure the minecart gets more speed first. So just have it go down a bit of a hill before it comes out on the other side. And keep in mind, if you watched my video on minecart shotguns, yes, you can in fact shoot lava with stuff in it at things using minecart shotguns. And if you would like to see my face while I play video games on the internet, check out twitch.tv/BLINDIRL for my streams. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.